As I have mentioned in previous videos, I was a target of bullying as a child. I don't think it ever got serious to the point of worry back in elementary school, but there are some key memories I have from when the bullying would occur. When I was in the 2nd grade, I had a girl in my class named Alyssa. We were in fact not friends in the slightest, and I have no idea what I could have possibly done that ticked her off so much. Maybe she wasn't a fan of Dora the Explorer and had underlying trauma, and her seeing my embarrassment of a haircut just set her over the edge. One day during class, we were reading books with our reading buddies, and I sat under the main whiteboard at the front of the class. I was casually minding my business, just chopping it up with my 2nd grade reading skill, when Alyssa decided to kill the vibe. She looks at me from across the classroom, and we make direct eye contact with one another, when all of a sudden, with a quick and perfect throw of her right arm, she chucks a book across the room in my general direction, and it lands perfectly into my right eye. I think my teacher imagined I was just stabbed by the high pitch of my scream. I was brought to the nurse and sent home, and it didn't take long before a black eye formed from the destruction Alyssa caused to my little eye. At the time, my older sister was going to the same school as me. We're only 4 years apart, so everyone knew me as Sydney's little sister. This title has still stuck with me 20 years later, but my sister had the reputation as my older sister because she just so happened to be in the 5th grade at this time, so she was the intimidation of the school. Just the near mention of a 5th grader was enough to send any of us youngsters running for the hills. I think it was mainly because they were so tall back then. When I went home early from school that day, I obviously had to tell my parents what happened and why this girl decided to KO my ass in school. I gave them the gist of it all, and as my family does, word got out, and my older sister ended up coming to my room later that day to ask me what happened and who the girl was. I didn't want to go to school the next day, but my poor excuse of having a stomach ache wasn't enough to convince my mom, and I was forced to face everyone with the black eye. Time passes, and the bell rings to send us all to recess. I was planning to have a ball on the monkey bars that day, but Alyssa had other things in mind. I think her throwing that book at my face was an adrenaline rush, and this was probably the start of her villain arc. She pushed me down the stairs of the playground and told me that stinky people couldn't play on monkey bars. Excuse me. I took a bath last night. You probably just smell your upper lip. I didn't say that, but I probably thought it in the moment. Instead of being a thug like I forgot I was in the moment, I cried on the floor. Her spotlight was short-lived, however, when I heard her yell out and land on the floor. I look up to the playground and see none other than my older sister punch Alyssa in the back and send her flying down the stairs. She told Alyssa to stop messing with me, or else she'll have to deal with her next time, and Alyssa just sat on the floor and cried. My sister looked so cool in that moment, and she helped me up and we played on the monkey bars the rest of recess. I tried standing up to my little sister's bully a few years later when I was in the 4th grade, but this girl legit grabbed me by the arm and swung me into the standing pole of the monkey bars and smashed my face in. I didn't do that again, but she ended up apologizing to me later that day because my little sister told that girl I only had one kidney and I guess she had a change of heart and tried to befriend me, but I was extremely confused at that point. I had another bully in the 3rd grade, but she wasn't as crazy or violent than what I had waiting for me or experienced when I got green eggs and ham launched into my eyeball the previous year. Isabella was one of those bullies who did psychological torture and went after my appearance and put ideas in my head of what people really thought of me. For a while, she got under my skin, and I believed a lot of things she said to me. But as the year went on, I got kind of fed up with her calling me fat and stupid every day before class, and decided I would silently pay it forward to her. She had this keychain of a small dog. It was one of those beanie babies with the big eyes, and she named it Chocolate. She cherished that thing like it was a real dog. So what did I do as a 3rd grader who was sick of being made a fool? I lied to the teacher and said I forgot my lunch in the class during recess. I was alone in the classroom, but I had eyes set on one thing and one thing only. I felt like I was in Mission Impossible with how tense the atmosphere was. That dog keychain was basically the Declaration of Independence in that moment, and with one swift motion, I snatched it off her backpack and walked out like nothing happened. She cried, and they never did find out what happened to her precious dog Chocolate. But little did they know, it was the greatest heist of all time. I still have her to this day, and I declared her the boyfriend of the dog I had from the same year. Fast forward to the 4th grade. We were doing an assignment in art class. I sat at the big table at the front of the classroom with my best friend sitting in front of me and this one boy on my left. I was talking to my best friend about the assignment, but this boy kept on shushing me the whole time. Make no mistake, I was totally the problem in this situation, and I don't declare this boy as a bully or anything. I just thought this memory was funny and iconic and wanted to share it. But I was talking to my friend and this boy kept shushing me. We'll call him Blake. I turned and told Blake that I wasn't even being loud, and he told me that I needed to shut up. I paused, trying to be intimidating, and told him to make me. That sentence alone was the end of the conversation. He grabbed his pencil and smashed it into my arm. I cried and told the teacher that Blake just stabbed me, and I got sent to the nurse's office yet again. Afterward, my dad got called down to the office, and we had to have a meeting with the principal. Now, me being the child I was, I obviously lied to save my own butt from getting in trouble, and didn't tell them the whole story as to why Blake just shanked me in art class. My dad was pissed, and all the principal said was, "Well, boys will be boys." My dad just took a deep breath, and we left the office right then and there. Blake got switched to a different table, and looking back on it now, little me was something else, man. If I was actually getting bullied, I would just let it happen and take matters into my own hands. If someone just wanted me to shut up, all of a sudden they were plotting to murder me. Like, girl, I think you missed a step there. 5th grade rolls around. I meet this new girl in class. We'll call her Rose, and she seemed to be so cool. She was popular with the boys and girls, and not just our class, but the others too. She sat at a different table from me at the start of the year, but we ended up having a seat change and ended up being sat together the rest of the year. She was different from my other friends at the time. She was more stern, but also outgoing too, and I started to get closer to her and even looked up to her a little. She started coming over after school, and we would hang out almost every day. The bullying from others essentially stopped when she came into my life, and we became best friends. One day, she had an encounter with one of the other girls in her class. I guess this girl had told someone she had a crush on the same guy Rose liked at the time, and word got back to her about it. We were lining up to head out to recess, and she was venting to me about how she hated this other girl and thought she was being selfish when everyone knew Rose had already liked this random guy for so long, and she started cussing her name out to me in the back of the line. I was caught off guard and felt like I was doing something illegal when all those slurs kept coming out of her mouth.
Shh, stop! What if the teacher hears you saying all of this?
What does it matter? It's just a word. People say these things all the time.
Yeah, but what if we get in trouble for saying it? Those words are bad.
You're telling me you've never cursed before? I dare you to say a bad word right now.
No way, I don't want to. I'm scared.
Come on, just do it. If you don't say one, I'll stop being friends with you.
This was the start of my first toxic best friend. I'll have to get into all of that in the next video, but this was the beginning of the worst years of my life, and the start of everything falling apart in my little world. Hello everyone! I have been staying productive with putting videos out to my best ability this month, and I am so happy to have so many new people joining in the journey of our growth as a channel. Sorry for the abrupt ending on this video. The story of my first toxic best friend is something I've been wanting to share for a bit now, but it's definitely a lot to unpack. I'll have to end up making it into a series in all honesty. Also, a quick thank you to my sister and her friend Katie for letting me use their voices in this video too. But for now, I hope you all enjoy this video of my elementary experiences with bullies. I am totally okay, and I laugh about these small encounters now, so it's okay if you do too. I hope you're all doing well as usual, and keep striving forward as we get bigger as a community. You guys are always welcome here, and I can't wait to see the channel grow bigger day by day. But I love you all, and I shall see you in the next video.